A lot of times we think, oh, I need to do this, or I'm not qualified, I don't have a certification, I don't have the education. You have the gift. The gift trumps everything, okay?
I got problems. Yeah. I know you got problems, know you at the bottom, know you took a loss today.
Let's meal prep. Yo, it's your girl Janine St. G. Welcome back to my world where we are documenting the process of going from zero to hero to live a life of maximum fulfillment. We are back with another heart to heart, but today we are doing the plant-based meal prep edition. So we're gonna make some food. I do have a little word, so stay tuned and yeah, let's get into it. All right, so on the menu today we have quinoa. We're gonna make a huge salad that you can use like throughout the week or over the course of a few days, and we're going to make some sauteed mushrooms. So I'm gonna start with the quinoa actually, and I'm just gonna let you know from, wow. I'm gonna let you know from now that I am Caribbean. My parents are both from Haiti, and we don't measure when we cook, we just cook by the spirit. So yeah, so you're gonna notice that, but you know, if you want, I don't even know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is follow along. It's probably gonna be a little bit different from your typical video because like I said, I have a word for you, but I will try to kind of guide you through like what's actually happening. So we're starting with the quinoa. Usually when I make my quinoa, I just literally drop some into the pan, I'm calling it a pan, into the pot, add some water and call it a day. I try not to make too much because the thing about quinoa is like, if I decide that I don't want to eat it every day, it can go bad and I waste it, so I try not to do that. Anyway, we're gonna add some water. So basically I just put enough water to like cover the quinoa, and then from there I'm gonna put it on heat, like medium-high heat. And the nice thing about quinoa is that it's like really not a fussy food at all. So yeah, we're gonna let that thing do its thing. And we're gonna move on to the salad. I'm just gonna show you the ingredients real quick, and then we just gonna get into it and finally get into the word that I have for you today. Okay, so ingredients that we're using for the salad, you probably saw it earlier, but we are gonna use kale, some baby arugula. So you can see, we're also gonna be using a romaine salad mix. Also got some fresh parsley, because fresh herbs really like be changing the game. Like they really be changing the game. So, cut up some bell peppers, and we are going to cut up this red cabbage. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway. Okay, let's get started. All right, so first things first, I'm grabbing my strainer because we want to wash the kale. Everything else is pretty much good in terms of the green, but basically the base of this salad is gonna be kale, the arugula, and the romaine salad mix. So what I'm gonna do is just, the quinoa. I'm just gonna peel off the kale, and basically I'm leaving the stem behind, so I'm just gonna roughly peel it. I don't know why I'm saying peel. Is that the right word? Anyway, here we are. And it doesn't have to be perfect or anything. You're just trying to get rid of that centerpiece, just because I don't really like it in my salad personally. So you can keep it there if you want, but I'm not going to. And I'm ripping it roughly like this because we're gonna chop it up. We gonna chop it up. Speaking of chop it up, let's talk about the reason for this video today, or let's talk about the word. Basically, a little birdie told me, or God told me, or I heard that some of you are not like trusting in your gift. Some of you are really sleeping on your gifts. And when I say that, I mean you're doubting the power of your gift, right? And so obviously there's always story time because there's a reason why I'm telling you this. But part of why I've been so kind of like shifty on here, like I've been here and I haven't been here, and especially the last few weeks, I found myself kind of shying away from, you know, coming on here, making a video, hanging out with you. And it's because I have been really like thinking, oh, I have to do it this one specific way, right? And I feel like, you know, I know that what God called me to do with my YouTube is very different from what like I don't know, the people that teach YouTube, teach you how to do YouTube, is very different from what they suggest, right? So a lot of times the suggestion is, you know, making sure that you are doing educational videos only, and you know, that your opening is very specific, and you know, there's a lot of different elements that I don't really do, because the point of my YouTube isn't just to be like some character on here. It's really to connect and like for us to build, because essentially I'm really just here to give you a visual of the process of walking in your purpose, everything that it entails. So even right now we're making this salad and we're eating for our goals, we're really eating for our purpose, right? Because the foods that I'm making, super high vibe foods, but in addition to that, they're gonna provide me with like the health, the nutrients, everything that I need to keep pressing forward in my purpose, right? And not even just physically, but also like mentally, emotionally. So there's that. The other reason we're also making this salad or meal prepping right now is because, remember I was talking about this month wanting to be just more intentional with my efforts with everything, like and that includes eating. So yeah, like for the last few months I feel like I've been kind of just not taking care of myself in that way, like being serious about my nutrition and everything. So I really wanna change that. Okay, real quick, we about to check on the quinoa because I feel like it's like boiling over. Where's the spoon I was using? I don't know where I put that spoon. Well, we're gonna use a new one. Okay, so with the quinoa, that initial boil, the water's gonna start to evaporate a bit, which is fine. I'm gonna turn down the fire just a little bit. Okay, cool. And then I'm actually gonna cover it soon, but I don't feel it's, oh, you know what? It kind of is ready to cover. Once you see like these little holes, like these little bubble holes, that sounds so not scientific, but whatever. Once you see like the little bubbles, like it's making little holes in the quinoa, that's when you know that you can pretty much cover it and let it, wow. It's so funny because I keep stopping myself because I'm about to use Haitian Creole to describe what I'm talking about. But basically, you can cover it, yeah. So Haitians usually say you can cover it so that it can touffer. Touffer is basically like, the literal translation of touffer is to like choke or strangle. Yeah, basically to remove air. Completely off track, let's get back into it. So right now what I'm doing is I'm gonna chop up the kale, because like I said, I really like chopped salads. This is my little salad bowl. Yeah, okay. So back to what I was saying with the gifts or whatever, and my story with YouTube and like, you know, I don't know, for me it feels like a lack of consistency. I've been consistent overall, but like there's this consistency that I'm striving for and I feel like I haven't met it, just cause like, you know, I want us to be able to really chop it up all the time. So anyway, yeah, I found myself getting really caught up in like, okay, these are the rules. This is how YouTube is supposed to be done. This is the only way that you're gonna grow. This is how people are gonna find you, whatever. And you know, here's the thing about rules in general, especially when you're, you know, creating something, right? And let's stay specific with YouTube. The rules are there because they work. They've been proven to work. People have used them. They've been successful with them. The other thing though, especially specifically with YouTube, is that some people have to use the rules because they are lacking in specific gifts that would lend themselves to be able to do virtually whatever they wanted and still grow on YouTube, right? So what I mean by that is they may be gifted in writing or they may be gifted in, you know, whatever, but they might not have the gift of just like being able to be on camera or just have a presence on camera or invite people in just with their personality or whatever the case might be, and their good looks. But honestly, like that's a lot of the reason why God had told me that YouTube was going to be the medium through which I basically delivered my message and certain messages, and documented my process and journey. Because at the end of the day, one of my gifts is like being in front of the camera, speaking, connecting, telling stories, and like really just like sharing myself and teaching too. I say all that to say, some of y'all really need to trust in your gifts and not be so worried about, oh, I'm supposed to be doing it this way, I'm supposed to be doing it that way, and really just believe in the fact that like you're enough, you're more than enough. In fact, basically, what I'm trying to say is whatever your gift is, trust in it. As you're walking in purpose, trust in it. Don't think that a lot of times we think, oh, I need to do this, or I'm not qualified, I don't have a certification, I don't have this, I don't have the education, whatever the case might be. You have the gift. The gift trumps everything, okay? So, yeah, that's that, and that's period. I don't think there's anything else I need to say about that. So, there's that. Now, just chopping up the kale, and something I forgot to tell you is that with the quinoa, when you cover it, you just want to put it on extremely low fire, like the lowest setting that you have, essentially. Okay. Yeah, and part of the reason why I was like, I need to come on here and do this is because sometimes I get really like, I don't want to meal prep, I don't feel like doing this. I get really lazy. So I was like, you know what? I feel like if I have company with my people, with you, then I'll be, I don't know, more inclined to do it. I'll feel more motivated to do it. So here we are. So yeah, I think, you know, we went over the word. What's the other thing I was gonna say? Okay, yeah, so the intentional thing, because I wanted to update about that because it's been, everything that I said, oh, I'm gonna get organized, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, none of it really happened. And it's just, I think, something that I've been learning about myself is that I'm very much like a go with the flow person. Like, I kind of like see what the energy is, see how the world is going, see how the day is going, and then from there I make my decisions as to like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do today. Check in with myself, how am I feeling? This is how I'm gonna approach my day. Which I feel like in a capitalistic society, it's like the wrong way to go about things, essentially, because it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're gonna be producing every single day, which is like basically the point of capitalism. Like, you exist to produce. Anyway, I say all that to say, I did not necessarily get super organized with my intentions, but because, I think I talked about this before too, the power of setting intentions is that it's always top of mind. So you're always thinking about all the things that you have intended to do, whether you wrote it out, whether you have a very specific regimen with it, whatever the case might be. And I think for me, what I've been learning to accept is that that regimen is just gonna come on its own. So meaning, because everything is top of mind, because I had set intentions with them, as I'm moving through the world, through my days, through the weeks or whatever, because it's top of mind, I'm gonna be like consciously reminded. God, my higher self, whatever, is always gonna be reminding me like, hey, we said we were gonna meditate, haven't done it in 2 days, whatever, right? And then from there, I kind of start to figure it out and find my flow in it. So I guess this is just for people who are more like flowy, and I wouldn't say opposed to structure, but like structure kind of overwhelms you a little bit, and seems hard to maintain, right? Because the goal with everything is sustainability. And so for me, I just know that my days, they're meant to look different. I know that about me. I know I'm not supposed to, every day is not supposed to be the same. That's also why, like, what I do in terms of like work, which is like creating content. And, you know, in the past it was really being a fitness professional. It puts me in a space where like things are changing every day. Like every day doesn't look the same. So, and I think the reason for that is because of just how I move in the world in general. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just saying this for anyone who kind of be feeling how I be feeling when it comes to, how would I say it? Just being a go with the flow type of person. Okay, now we got the kale in the bowl. So the next thing that we're gonna do, and the reason why I love getting these salad mixes is that, let me just make sure the mics are on. Okay, good. The reason why I love these salad mixes is because I ain't gotta do nothing but pour it in. So we're pouring that in. We're gonna get to the arugula. Also, I'm here thinking, I feel like I had something else to tell you, but I don't remember. Actually, you know what? Before we add the arugula, we're just gonna mix. So I'm just mixing the kale around with the romaine mix. You can see that. Okay. Ooh, we lost some light. The camera. Okay, so now We're gonna drop in the arugula. What I should have done really is put the parsley in first, but that's okay. I think we're just gonna drop it on the top and call it a day. Okay, so let me see if I can show you. All right, so this is basically what it's looking like. We got the base mixed up, and now I'm gonna kind of show you what we're doing. Let me just check the quinoa 1 second, and then we're gonna add this parsley. Okay, good. Gonna let the quinoa stay under the low fire. So let me just rinse off this parsley. My favorite. This is fresh parsley, and you can really put any fresh herbs. I usually, like in my salads, I like to have either parsley or cilantro. I just think they work well. Tons of health benefits to parsley. I think I could do a rundown of that at another time, maybe another video or something. Maybe we'll do like a whole bunch of herbs. But what I love about fresh herbs is that herbs in general are just very powerful medicinally, and so why not just have it in your food? But also, some of them have like a lot of spiritual benefits as well, and they just like really take the flavor of your food to the next level. So I usually use dry seasoning to cook, and you'll see that when we make the mushrooms. But anytime I'm making like fresh things, or even after I've cooked something, like let's say I make pasta, I'll usually add fresh basil to it. Basil is another one that I might put in salads. But anyway, you don't actually have to put it like this. Usually what I do actually is after I like take a portion out of the base of the salad and start adding things to it, I will add the herbs after. So it's up to you, but I find sometimes when I do that, the herbs end up going bad in the fridge. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just put them into the salad now, one time. Because the salad usually, I don't know, this will last me maybe like 3 days. Yeah, probably like 3 days, 3 or 4 days. Depends on how many times I have a salad. Usually I try to have a salad at least once a day. But it's not just green. So you'll see like why we're making everything the way we're making it. Okay, so you can't really tell a difference with the herbs. We got the herbs in there. I'm gonna just put the rest in the fridge, and I'll add more throughout the next few days if I feel to. Okay, so now that this base is done, I'm just gonna cover it, put it in the fridge, because everything else, all the other pieces, I'm just gonna put kind of like, I'm just gonna prep them basically. So I'm just gonna chop up the other vegetables that I'll add to the salad when I'm portioning out my salads throughout the next few days, if that makes sense, right? So I have the base. I don't know why, but I just don't be liking to mix all the vegetables at once, just because I don't know, they have different expiration dates. So then if like, let's say the base was gonna be good until, I don't know, May 31st or something. I'm making this up right now. But let's say the carrots were only gonna be good until May 15th, and then they're mixed, and then the carrots go bad, so then the whole thing goes bad. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, pro tip. All right, so we are moving on. Oh my gosh, this trash needs to open. Okay, we're gonna move on. We're gonna start here with the red cabbage. Oh my God, cabbage is also amazing. So I think I told you that I've been kind of having like some weird digestive issues. I was talking about that with my training, like just figuring out what I want to do with my training. Hence why you haven't really seen a gym vlog, also because I really don't like filming them. But I'll probably, you know, if you're interested in that, I could definitely film another one. I'm still working on like finalizing the program, but I'm actually liking it, and I feel like 6 more weeks on it and I'm really gonna be where I wanna be and what I wanna see. So the reason why I was bringing that up, oh, let me put this back in. The reason why I bought that up is because, oh shoot, I don't have a bag for this. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so the reason why I bought up the digestion is because cabbage, believe it or not, is very good for digestion. So if you've like experienced digestive issues, or especially like, I feel like they come up especially if you have like a lot of food sensitivities, but cabbage is like very good for the gut, very good for yeah, digestive issues. I found it's not like ginger per se, you know, like ginger actually literally be like in the digestive tract and doing its thing, but I think there's something like some type of micronutrient in cabbage that really helps with yeah, digestion, and it seems to be easy on the digestive tract in general. So I try to include cabbage in all of my salads. I also, even though some people would be like, ew, why would you eat that? But I also eat Brussels sprouts a lot. Like I've been bringing them back into the rotation. So yeah, in addition to like really finding the training that works for me, that isn't too stressful or whatever, I've also been just dialing in my nutrition, because my first thing was like, okay, let me find the training program that will work for me. Let me design it essentially. And then I was like, okay, once I feel solid in that, I've been more consistent and all that, then I would tackle the food. So that's another thing too, like when you're trying to make changes health-wise, physique-wise, fitness-wise, whatever, it's good to just do things like one at a time. Sometimes we just jump in and do everything, and you can do that too. Like if that works for you as a person, you really have to like learn self to know what works for you. But sometimes I think an easy way to do it is to just focus on, this is like old cabbage. So you see what I'm saying? That's why I wouldn't want to put this in with the salad. Anyway, it's gone bad. So we're just gonna throw that out and wash this bowl and then put the cabbage that we've been chopping in there. So anyway, like I was saying, starting with one thing, nailing that, mastering that, getting in a good place and a good groove and rhythm with that, and then adding the next thing and layering it, I think it's just really helpful. Because here's the thing, now that I'm pretty much in a good groove with my training, that is like, I guess you could call it stress proof, because I'm trying to manage stress, because that is directly related to the digestion and tons of other things too, specifically like the changes that I'm like looking for in my physique, because I'm really hoping to get back into modeling this summer. Now that that's done, I don't have to think so much. It's on autopilot now. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to the gym this many times a week. I know what my lifts are. I know what my cardio is looking like. So, oh man, this is probably too warm. Basically what I'm doing right now, I put the cabbage that I cut up into this bowl, and I'm just gonna put cold water in here and just put it in the fridge. So I just let it sit in water. I've been rethinking it and wondering if I shouldn't leave it in water, but for some reason I feel like leaving it in water will help with the freshness. Maybe it's just in my head, it's unclear. But anyway, oh, let me show you. I don't want to tip it over. Luckily this is glass, even though I did spill some. But anyway, as I was saying, one at a time, now I can really focus on like figuring out the nutrition piece, because essentially the training part is figured out. Okay, next up we are going to break down 2 bell peppers. We're gonna chop these up. So if you've never broken down a bell pepper, I'm gonna show you. Sometimes I'll be making these videos and I'm like, yo, I could literally make like 10 videos off of everything that's coming in this, but that's good, jam-packed with information. And what will probably happen is I will just make a separate video for this. Okay, so we're gonna break down bell peppers. First thing that you wanna do is cut the top part off, okay? So I'm gonna show you, let me come a little closer so you can see. Basically, doing this, just cutting this top part off, because we wanna take the seeds, all that stuff out. We want it to happen smoothly. Ooh, I was a little too, let's see. I didn't do a good job. I was a little too conservative with cutting off the top. Okay, now, the other thing that you can do too is cut off the bottom. Lord, what is going on? Okay, we did it. That was not my best attempt, so we're gonna do it again. I don't like to waste these, so put this to the side. All right, round 2, let's try again and get this right. So we're here with it. Not gonna be too conservative this time. Again, you're cutting off this top part. And you don't want to go too deep into it, because then you'll literally cut off the area that we're trying to take out, which is all the seeds and everything. Oh, dang, I messed it up again. Okay, well, you get the idea. Yours will probably come out better than mine, but basically we want to take this part out. I don't need this top either, so I'm gonna keep the bottom though. Trying not to waste as much as possible. Okay. Even though this wasn't the best example, now we know I'm definitely gonna, that's God, like, girl, make a whole video on that. Somebody needs to know how to break down a bell pepper. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is we have this little thing here. I'm just gonna cut it, cut it. And then what I'm gonna do is remove, see that little white thing? I'm gonna remove the white thing, because that'd be making like, I don't know, it just takes away the flavor, especially if you're cooking. This is actually the best way to break it down to cook it. I could have just left the white thing for, since it's not gonna be cooked, I'm really gonna eat it raw in the salad. But I just prefer it, and I think it's prettier in the salad when the white thing is not there. Plus, we're gonna like really chop this up, so yeah. All right, let me actually start getting the bowl that I'm gonna put these all in. Where's the bowl? Oh dang, I don't have the bowl. Sheesh. All right, well that's fine. For now, we'll put it in this bowl, and then I'm gonna transfer it into actual Tupperware. Okay, so not even Tupperware, but glassware really. So this is what we have now. These pieces, just gonna rinse them off again because there's some seed on them. Now, time to chop it up. So I'm gonna be here, and I'm just chopping it into, I don't know if you can see that, but these small little things here, right? And then eventually what I'm gonna do with them is chop them into even smaller bits, like little squares, I guess you could say, I guess they are kind of cubes. Okay, so now this is what we have. Okay, so I'm gonna line them up, and then I'm just gonna make them a little smaller. So now it looks like that. All right, let's put them in here. In the meantime, let's just double check the quinoa. I'm actually gonna turn off the fire, but I'm gonna leave it on the fire. If you saw that your quinoa was basically like super mushy or something, or more than ready, then what you actually wanna do is turn the fire off and then remove it from that burner, like put it on another part of the stove. But because I wanted to cook down a little bit more, but I don't want it to like burn or anything, I just took the fire off, and it's still gonna cook because it is covered and it's hot, which is all you really need. Okay, so we're gonna finish this up. Oh yeah, the other thing this is what I was forgetting to ask you. There's a few things. So one, I wanted to ask you, would a plan that prioritizes like balancing stress be interesting to you in terms of like training? Let me know in the comments below. And then the other question I have is, would you also be interested once I'm done with it? Because I'm really just, like I said, sorting out the nutrition, figuring out how I want to approach it. For the digestive piece, would that be interesting to you? Like, do you want to see what I eat in the day? Things like that. Let me know. Yeah, I think that's it, really and truly. Really and truly. Also, let me know how you're doing. I love hearing from you. Sometimes I'm a little bit behind on responding to comments, but you already know it's not for no reason, and I'm not like just intentionally ignoring you. I'm just we trying to go from zero to hero, baby. So it's a lot. Like there's a lot, because it's like the work of it is one part of it, but then also the mental part. So I'm just cutting up the bottoms because, like I said, I didn't want to waste them. And I'm not doing anything. These aren't like as perfect, I guess you could say, as the other straight pieces, like the flat pieces that we got over the pepper originally, but that's fine. They could still work. They could still work. Yeah, so like I was saying, yeah, it's not that I'm ignoring you, it's that I'm like in my head just trying to wrap my mind around this whole process. And literally just always figuring out, okay, like, especially right now, I'm in the place of like, okay, it's time to like start really buckling down to figure out how we're gonna generate this income. So yeah, okay. So basically, this is the chopped peppers. That's that. Pretty much done here with that. It's mushroom time. Love mushrooms. Like I said, this is a plant-based meal prep because I haven't been eating meat. So that's one of the things that I took out just to help with the digestion, because meat can be difficult to digest. So because I was already seeing like, oh wow, my digestion is really not happy right now, I was like, okay, well let's cut out the meat. Not that I'm a big meat eater anyway. If I was eating meat, I'd be like just incorporating salmon really. But here and there, you know, I might eat red meat depending on how I'm feeling. But right now we are going meatless. So I've been meatless probably for about, I don't know, maybe 60-ish days, like 60 plus days. Yeah. But this isn't my first time like not eating meat. Like I've been fully vegan, all of that, but I'm just at a point now where I just listen to my body and I kind of cycle. Like, so in the summertime, I usually eat lighter in terms of like meat. Not lighter, like I'll eat food, but like I'm probably not gonna eat meat like that in the summertime. But come fall, late fall, winter time, that's when I really start bringing like the salmon back in, like a lot of those fatty meats, just because I don't know, I found that like it works well with my body. But right now, like I said, because we're working on the nutrition, because we're working on the digestion, I'm really just staying away from meat right now. So we're using mushrooms because mushrooms are like first of all, they're tasty. Mushrooms are also magical. They're so good for you in so many levels, but they just make for a really good meat replacement. So a few things that we're gonna do. Actually, let me show you the mushrooms that we're making. So we're gonna make some portobello mushrooms. I'm gonna show you that. Portobello mushrooms are great for like burger replacement. I put them like in sandwiches too. Maybe we will do a what I eat in a day, because I feel like I'm telling you all these things and you might not see them tonight. We have sliced portobello mushrooms. These I like to drop on my salad. And then shiitake mushrooms, I also drop those on my salad too. So what we're gonna do now, I actually am going to move, let me keep the peppers here. I actually am gonna move the quinoa now, and we're gonna get this pan ready. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna use some, what is this called? Avocado oil spray. And gonna spray the pan lightly. And I'm gonna let it heat up a little bit. So I'm gonna put it on like a medium-low fire, but typically I like to cook my mushrooms on high heat. Now here's the thing. This building was not made for cooking. I can tell you that for a fact. I know that for a fact. And so that being said, the fire alarm might go off, but being mic'd up, it should like drown out that sound, but just letting you know if we have like a little emergency situation. Okay, so you see this back part of the portobello mushroom. What I typically do is I pop it off, just because it's really tough. It doesn't cook that well, or maybe I just don't know how to do it before I cook them. So this is the prep that I do. From there, just gonna rinse them off. Actually, you know what? We can use the strainer again. So I'm just gonna rinse them. I like to get them nice and wet. Pause. And then put them in the pan. So we're gonna start with the mushrooms. And I think actually what I'm gonna do, we're gonna move the camera. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. Okay, so it will make sense because I'm about to move the camera, so it will be like a good segue into explaining kind of what I was talking about with what I was talking about with the sleeping on your gifts and being worried about this and that. Because I can kind of give you a real life example of what I mean in the context of YouTube and what I'm doing with my own gifts. Okay. The mushrooms are rinsed, right? Nice and wet. I'm gonna keep in the sink. We're gonna do the same to the other ones, but for now, let's focus on one thing.
I'm also gonna move you, so hold on.
Okay, so we are on the other side of the kitchen. We're about to make these mushrooms. Like I said, we just try to keep them a little wet. I'm basically trying to put water on them as we speak. And then we're gonna put it in that pan there. And you'll see what we're gonna do from there. We are gonna be using some dry seasoning. So, here we go. All right, so you can see that. I'll bring it closer to you so you can actually see, okay? So we got 4 in the pan, and praise God that I got new pans because this would have taken so much longer in the past. Okay, so this is where we're gonna season. We're gonna start with sea salt, and really all I do is I use sea salt and garlic because salt and garlic is really all you ever need. But you could do other things too, but this is what we're doing. So, whew, it's hot over here. And like I said, with mushrooms, I like to keep mushrooms on high fire. So yeah. All right. So we got the salt going. The next thing I'm going to do is add the garlic. Now you could really use whatever you want to season. This is just what I like, but you could really do whatever. Paprika, cumin if you wanted. Those are not really flavors I like for my mushrooms like that. Haven't really tried them, but I'm generally a simple flavor profile type of person. Okay, cool. So now they're here. We want them to get color, but we also want them to like cook down a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is use a cover from like a big pot, and I'm gonna cover them just to like press them down a bit. So here we go. I'm also turning on the vent just in case, because I really don't want to have to deal with the I don't want to have to deal with the fire alarm. So what's next? Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is get the other mushrooms ready, the ones that we're gonna slice up for the salad. All we're really gonna do is get them wet. I really just don't say that, it sounds so weird. But yeah, all we're really gonna do is wash them down. I'm gonna start with the portobello first, then shiitake next, because like when cooking them, you'll see as I cook them, it's just easier that way. I like to cook them separately. Okay. The portobello, sliced portobello are washed now, and the like big portobellos, I guess, they are pretty much cooked down, so you can see the difference, right? Yeah. All right. So what I'm going to do is work on not cooking with my hands, and I'm just gonna flip them over. Ooh. So you can see that. And now what I'm going to do is just cover them again and let them cook down a little bit more. I'm actually gonna turn down the fire just a little bit. Just a little bit. It's still on high, but it's not on like ultra high, which is where it was. Okay. Just spraying it down like I did the first one. And then we're gonna turn the fire on high too. The thing about this burner gets a lot hotter. This burner gets hotter than that one, so this is gonna be interesting because you really do want the pan to be hot. All right, so the mushrooms are pretty much ready to come out now. You'll know just because they're softer. You can even like pinch them, not pinch them, but test them with your little fork and see how soft they feel. This one I feel like this could cook a little longer actually, but the other ones are pretty much ready. So you can see that. Just put it on the plate. Like I said, this will go into glassware later, but for now
it is what it is.
Okay, let's test that other, I'm just gonna let this last one cook down. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that crackle, sizzle, pop. That means that this other pan is nice, hot, and ready. I don't know why we have all these like innuendos. So, finish rinsing them off. We're gonna add these now. And you don't want to crowd the pan, and you don't want them on top of each other either. Okay, so that's probably good. I'm gonna put one more in there. Okay. Now we're gonna do a similar thing, but slightly different. The way that I'm gonna season them this time is I'm gonna put salt. I'm gonna put the sea salt on them. Drop some sea salt in there. That's gonna help break them down and make them a little softer. Gonna let it, I guess, brown a little bit. We're gonna check on our big old portobello. Okay, so it seems to be doing well. So now what I'm gonna do is cover these portobellos on the other side. We're gonna put this on that plate. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is just wipe down this pan, because you can see it's kind of, it's doing this thing. So we're gonna wipe down the pan, and then we're gonna put the rest of the portobello mushrooms into the mix. All Going back in with the sprays. And we're gonna put the rest of the portobello mushrooms in that pan. Oh, actually it's not hot yet. My bad, let's let it get hot. Okay, the other ones are cooking down. So now we just wait. We're gonna wait for that pan to get hot. We'll add the portobello. I feel like I'm like talking so fast, but because I'm trying not to lose the light and I'm trying to get other shots. So yeah, the next thing I'm gonna do is wash off the shiitake. You've already seen that process, so I'm probably not gonna film it. Okay, and we're back. So this pan is hot now. We're gonna just drop these bad boys in here. We're gonna need another pot cover. Okay, that's good. All right, we're gonna swap out tops because this one's a little bit bigger, so it can accommodate the bigger pan. This one's a little smaller and it can work here. Although I think those are ready to turn over. I think they're ready to turn over. So basically, once we're done with these portobellos, we're basically gonna be done because the process is gonna be the exact same for the shiitake mushrooms. So don't feel like you're gonna miss out, but I'm not gonna film that because we don't have time. So we're just gonna finish this up and then, yeah. All right, so the first batch of the sliced portobello are ready. So what we're gonna do is, like I said, we're just gonna use the, ooh, can you see? Okay, like I said, we're just gonna use a fork to flip them over. Ooh, this took some color. See the color there?
Ooh, pretty.
Okay, so from there, what I'm gonna do is give them a little spray down, just because they're a little dry. So I'm gonna give them a little spray down, and now I'm gonna let them get some color on the other side, then we add the garlic. Why? Because this pan is super hot. The garlic is low-key gonna burn, but we just wanna coat the mushroom in it, and then we transferring it to a plate. All right, it's garlic time. So you can see I'm just lightly baking. Now what I'm gonna do is move it around in the pan. And it's good that it's hot because it's cooking the garlic, but we just don't want it to burn. So you'll see I'm moving it around just like so. And now from here, I'm just gonna transfer them onto this plate.
I got problems. Yeah. I know you got problems, know you at the bottom, know you took a loss today. Everybody want bottles, living for a throttle, you just want bottle today. Tell me joy, where it's hiding, I've been trying to find it before I go all the way. Cause everybody got problems, everybody starving, but